Hello, I'm AC and I'm going to be doing a mod spotlight on Industrial Craft 2. The version I'm using is version 1.95, which is the newest version, which is for Minecraft version 1.2.5. It's a pretty big mod, so I'm going to split it up into separate videos, basically. The first, which is this one, will be on sort of Industrial Craft Power, which is electricity. I'll start with how to generate power, really, which there's a couple of different ways, some better than others. The first you'll probably get to is the generator, which is this one. You craft it like this, using the also crafting tables as well, which I probably mentioned there. But yeah, that's how you craft it. You craft it using a furnace, a machine block, which is made of refined iron, which is part of Industrial Craft as well. It's iron just put into a furnace again, to be honest. You'd put them into a square around it and leave the middle block empty and you get a machine block. And a battery, which I'll show you how to craft soon. I've got another one over there ready for that. The generator, well no, Industrial Craft works in terms of electricity, which Industrial Craft calls EU, and the generator outputs 5 EU per tick. And basically how it works is you just burn things up. It's like a furnace, but obviously you don't get anything out of it. It just turns it into EU. Like if you put a piece of coal in, you get up to 4,000 EU for one piece of coal, I think it is. So it's not too bad, really. And there's the water mill here, which is crafted like this, and you get 2 for this, so it's a pretty good way of it's a pretty good starting way of generating electricity. It uses the generator though, which all of these do, which is why I said it's probably best to start with the generator, because that'll be the first thing you'd get anyway. But yeah, the water mill outputs 2 EU per tick, and how it works is, well, you either put buckets of water in it, like this, and it obviously starts to fill this up, and it will generate EU just off that, or you can put it in like any body of water really, and it'll just suck up the water, and it'll use that instead, and output the EU from that water. But it will drain things out, so be careful of that. This is the windmill, and it's crafted like this. Another pretty easy one, like the water mill. It's not too expensive, not like the solar panel, but yeah, I'll get onto that. But yeah, just 4 pieces of iron around a generator will get you a windmill. Basically, I have to place these up pretty high for them to work well. The higher the better, really. They can output up to 3 EU per tick. So again, it's the best. Well no, it is the best, except the generator, but your generators aren't very efficient because you have to use fuel. These don't really use fuel that much. Neither does the solar panel, which you basically just need a clear sight to the sun and for it to be daytime, like that. This one's a bit more awkward to craft though. You need coal dust, which is coal which has been macerated. A macerator being a machine in Industrial Craft. But I'll do machines in a different video, because I mean that's a whole different subject on its own. And a generator again, just some glass and an electronic circuit, which is made with some cables, which I'll get onto in just a minute. Refined iron that I mentioned before, and some redstone. These output 1 EU per tick, but if you get a lot of them, they can be very efficient, more so than the rest, I think, anyway. So this is my personal sort of favourite, but yeah. And then this is the nuclear reactor. This is the last sort of method of gaining EU. You create it like this, very advanced sort of things. I'll get into a lot of this in a different video. I'll do a video especially on nuclear reactors because they are that complex. There's advanced circuits and all sorts, so I'll do them in a separate one, but that can it varies on the different setup you put of a nuclear reactor, how much EU you get from that. So yeah, I'll do that in a separate video. So yeah, you've started making EU, creating EU with this, but now obviously you need somewhere to put it, to store it. Oh, there's the geothermal generator, I forgot about this as well. Yeah, runs off lava. Either lava buckets, or you can just run lava into it with pipes if you've got Buildcraft on. And this one's quite good as well. It outputs 10 EU per tick, and you get per lava bucket that you put in there, like this, you'll get 20,000 EU. So that's a very good one if you can find a lot of lava anyway. And that's crafted like this: refined iron generators and empty cells, which are made out of tin. Just like that, and you get 16 of them. But yeah, so you need somewhere to store your EU, which is where these three things come in. The bat box, which is created with some batteries, copper cable and wooden planks. The MFE, which is energy crystals, which is a diamond surrounded by redstone, copper cables and a machine block. And then the MFSU, which is the most is the best power storage for industrial craft, which is made with, again, an MFE, advanced circuits, which is a normal circuit like that, with some lapis, glowstone and redstone, an advanced machine block, a normal machine block with carbon plates and advanced alloys. I'll get onto them another time when I get into machines probably. And a lapidron crystal, which is an energy crystal with 2 electronic circuits and 6 pieces of lapis around it. Basically it goes up in order. This one can hold up to 40,000 EU. This one can hold up to 600,000 EU, and this one's 10 million. So yeah, the obvious best choice for EU storage there, but it's quite expensive. And the bat box is obviously going to be your first choice when you very first start making EU to put everything into. I'm going to notice down here it says output. Well, no, it says out, but that's the output, and it outputs 32 EU per tick, which is classed as low voltage. And this one outputs 128, which is classed as medium. And this one's 512, which is classed as high. But there is another one, nuclear reactors. If you set them to certain types, you can get ultra high, I think it's called. Well, you can get very high currents, which you'd have to convert to even start to put into any of these, because they can only accept what they can output. I think I'm right in saying that. Yeah, they can only accept what you actually what they can output. So this is where these three come in. These are LV transformer, MV transformer, and a HV transformer, which is just low voltage, medium voltage, and high voltage. Created like this with some copper ingots. This a machine block, copper cables, and this one an energy crystal, an MV transformer, an electronic circuit, and some cables. And basically what these do is like downgrade the power, I suppose I should say. Like if you had power coming out of the MFE, it'd be coming out at 128 EU per tick, but to come into a bat box it would have to be 32, otherwise this would blow up. So you'd use an LV transformer and it would take in 128 EU and it'd output 32. So then you could basically transfer power from your MFE into your bat box. And the same goes with this from your MFSE, which is MFSU, sorry, which is the best one really. You'd have to downgrade it to go into your MFE, and then downgrade it again to go into your bat box. And then this one over here is for nuclear reactors, basically. I think that's pretty much all you could use it for, because nuclear reactors is the only thing that can actually get up to ultra high voltage, and it will take in anything higher than 512. I think ultra high voltage is 2048. It'll take in that, and it will change it to 512, so you can put it into an MFSU, making it sort of possible to get all of your power from your nuclear reactor. There are a couple of other power storage items, such as batteries, which I said I'd tell you how to craft. So copper cable, some tin, some redstone. They can hold, I don't know how much they can hold actually, I think it's 10,000. Then there's your energy crystals. I've already shown you this redstone with the diamond in the middle. I think I might, I don't really want to guess, maybe 40, I don't know, 40,000 EU. And then there's the lapotron crystal, which is an energy crystal, circuits, lapis, and I really can't remember that one. Might be 1,000,000, something like that, I can't remember. Now, there is a way to test how much EU you've got coming in somewhere. For example, if you had a cable coming in from here, from out of here into here, and then into here, and you wanted to check what it all was, you'd use an EU reader, which is crafted like this. No, I'm not going to take that one actually. And this is all the cables, so I'll show you the EU reader first, what you'd actually do with it. So basically you go to your cable, you click, it says start a new measurements, and then just click again. It'll tell you how much power is running through that. Obviously there's nothing because it's not connected to anything. But if it was connected to something, obviously it'll tell you how much EU would be running from there. And the longer you wait in between clicks, the more accurate it's going to be. Right, so onto cables. I've ordered these from lowest lowest power, sort of running through it, to highest. So this is ultra low current cable, crafted with just tin, and the most you can actually put through this, like the most EU you can put through this cable, is 5 EU per tick, which isn't really a lot. I mean, if you had a geothermal generator attached to that, it wouldn't even run, it would melt your wire. So yeah, not very good. And you can also be shocked by it, which will damage you, obviously, if you get an electric shock. So it's not the safest either. This is uninsulated copper cable, which is just made with 3 copper ingots. There you go, you get 6. This one can handle up to 32 EU per tick, which obviously low current, so you can accept it out of your bat box and whatnot with that. But again, you can be shocked with it, so I think you can be shocked with it anyway. So it's best to always insulate it, which is this. Same as before, except you just put some rubber around the sides, which I'll get to in another video. And you get, well, normal copper cable, but it's insulated copper cable, which also has a couple of other advantages other than the shock. You can paint it. You can paint it with industrial craft paints, which means that if you had 2 of these running parallel but you didn't want them to touch, you can paint them, and then obviously they won't touch anymore because they'll both, if you paint them different colours. And as well, with cables you always have energy loss over a certain distance. Like this cable, I know the energy loss, you get it per block, whereas this one you don't get as much per block. So with insulation you don't get as much per block again, it basically narrows it down again, so you're getting hardly any energy loss unless it's, I think it's every 5 or 6 blocks with that. So yeah, it's always best to insulate it. This is your gold cable, which is made the same as all the others, but just gold ingots. Now gold can hold 128 EU, which is medium voltage, obviously. So it's like the next step up from copper. And again, you can insulate it, but this time you have to get the gold cables and then just put your rubber next to it, and you can make insulated gold cable. And again, same thing, less energy loss per block, and you can paint it. I don't think you get shocked with gold though. And then if you really sort of don't want any energy loss, I mean you will still get a bit of energy loss but not much, you can insulate it again and you get 2 times insulated gold cable. You just get less energy loss basically. This is your glass fiber cable, which is pretty much the best cable you can use, but it's also very expensive, made with diamond and silver and 6 glass, and you only get 6 pieces. Or you can make it with redstone as well, but you only get 4, so to waste the diamond you might as well use silver. And this can transport up to 512 EU, so it can transport like high voltage. It can be painted without needing to be insulated, so that's obviously better than having to insulate your cable to actually paint them if you wanted them running parallel. You don't get any shock from this either at all. There's no risk of shock. You don't need to insulate it to make sure you're not going to get shocked or anything. You just don't at all with this cable. So I mean, it is the best cable to use. And as for energy loss, you only get one EU lost per 50 blocks. So I normally use this, even early game, always use this. You might as well waste the diamonds and then not have to replace it later. Yeah, that's glass fiber cable. Now HV cable, which is high voltage cable. It's made using refined iron. There you go, just the same as the rest. And this can take high voltage, which is 512, but it can also take ultra high voltage, which is 2048. Which is obviously what you need to start using for your nuclear reactors, because they use ultra high. But again, you can be shocked. Energy loss is sort of big without the insulation, and it can't be painted, so you insulate it like that, just the same as all the rest, and you get insulated HV cable. It's exactly the same really, but you can paint it and it reduces the shock, and obviously energy loss over distance is reduced slightly, but not completely. So yeah, you can insulate it again. Just do the same thing. Put your insulated rubber in there, your insulated HV cable and some rubber in there, and you get 2 times insulated HV cable, which is the same as this. It can still be painted. It reduces the shock a little bit more, and it reduces the energy loss over distance a little bit more as well. And then this is the 4 times insulated HV cable, made with the 2 times insulated HV cable and some more rubber, and that removes shock completely. I think you still get a bit of energy loss. Obviously you can still paint it, but it removes all sort of risk of getting shocked, which obviously if you've got that much voltage running through it is good. So you do want to be using that for your nuclear reactors. I suppose you could use these, but it's not very safe really, so it's best to use this for your nuclear reactors. And I think that pretty much sums up electricity, or the power that you use in industrial craft. I'll get into what you can use the power for in the next video. Probably it will be on machines. I'm gonna say machines or maybe tools, one or the other, because they both use power anyway. So yeah, I'll get on with making that. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I've taught you something. I've been AC, and thank you.